Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow citizens, before we speak about policies, before we speak about progress, before we speak about the future of America, I want to begin somewhere deeper, somewhere quieter, somewhere older than civilization itself. I want to begin with a force, not a political force, not a military force, not even an economic force, a universal force. Every morning when you rise from your bed in Dakar, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, or in a small town tucked between cornfields in the Midwest, before you check your phone, before you take your first step, there is something already holding you. You do not thank it. You do not see it. You rarely think about it. But without it, nothing else would be possible. Gravity. Gravity is the quiet agreement between you and the earth. It is the reason oceans do not spill into space. It is the reason our atmosphere clings to our planet. It is the reason skyscrapers rise confidently into the sky instead of drifting into chaos. Yet gravity does more than hold bodies. It holds order. And here is the profound truth. The physical laws that govern the universe often mirror the moral laws that govern human life. Centuries ago, Isaac Newton observed an apple falling from a tree and asked a question that changed history. Why does it fall downward? His curiosity revealed that the same force pulling the apple to the ground also guides the moon in its orbit. Later, Albert Einstein expanded our understanding even further. He taught us that gravity is not merely a force, it is the curvature of space and time. Massive objects bend reality itself. Mass bends reality. Pause and consider that. In physics, the greater the mass, the greater the influence. And what if the same is true in human life? What if character has mass? What if ideas have mass? What if love, integrity, responsibility carry a weight that shapes the world around us? America today stands at a crossroads of power and possibility. We have extraordinary technological advancement. We possess unmatched creative capacity. We influence culture, markets, diplomacy, and global imagination. We have mass. The question is not whether we possess gravity. The question is, what are we bending the world toward? Tonight, I invite you to explore gravity not only as science, but as metaphor. Not only as a law of physics, but as a guide for living. Not only as a cosmic force, but as a moral one. Because in understanding gravity, we may better understand ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, thinkers, dreamers, and builders of the American future. Tonight, I invite you to reflect on a force so constant, so patient, so faithful, that we often forget it is there at all. Gravity. It is invisible. It is silent. It never sleeps, and yet it holds the universe together. We stand on this stage, sit in these chairs, walk these streets, build these cities, raise our families, all because gravity holds us firmly to the earth. Without it, there would be no down, no foundation, no home. But gravity is more than a scientific principle. It is more than an equation written by Isaac Newton beneath an apple tree. It is more than space-time curved in the imagination of Albert Einstein. Gravity is a metaphor for life itself. Tonight, we will walk through 10 chapters, 10 reflections on gravity as science, as responsibility, as love, and as destiny. Each chapter builds upon the last, can look like layers of mass accumulating until they begin to bend the world around them. Let us begin. Hap I, Physical Gravity, the Invisible Architect. Extended introduction. Before there were nations, before there were civilizations, before there was language, there was gravity. Long before humanity ever looked up at the night sky, gravity was already choreographing a cosmic dance. Stars were forming, galaxies were spinning, planets were settling into delicate orbits, all governed by a force that cannot be seen, touched, or heard. Imagine the early universe, chaos, fire, particles colliding in every direction. And yet, from that apparent disorder emerged structure. Why? Because gravity gathered what was scattered. It pulled particles together. It formed stars. It created light. Gravity is the great organizer of the cosmos. It is patient. It does not rush. It works slowly across billions of years. And yet its influence is absolute. Without gravity, there would be no galaxies, no solar systems, no Earth, and no us. When Isaac Newton described gravity mathematically, he revealed something astonishing. The same force that pulls an apple from a tree governs the motion of the moon. And when Albert Einstein expanded that vision, he showed us that mass bends space and time itself. Mass shapes reality. The heavier something is, the more it bends the world around it. And that is not just physics, that is life. 2. America and the Gravity of Ideas. Extended Introduction. Every nation is built on something. Some are built on conquest, some on culture, some on geography. America was built on ideas. Ideas are invisible. You cannot hold them in your hand. And yet, like gravity, they can move mountains. They can topple empires. They can reshape the destiny of millions. In 1776, in Philadelphia, a group of individuals dared to assert that liberty was not the privilege of the few, but the birthright of all. That idea had weight. It traveled across oceans. It inspired revolutions. It challenged monarchies. It bent history. Ideas, when embraced by courageous people, gain mass. And when they gain mass, they begin to curve the course of events. The American experiment itself is a study in gravitational influence. As the nation grew, economically, militarily, culturally, so did its global pull. The question is not whether America has gravity. It does. The question is, toward what is it pulling the world? 3. Human gravity, the weight of responsibility. Extended introduction. There comes a moment in every life when gravity increases. It may be the birth of a child. It may be the loss of a parent. It may be the moment you sign a contract, take an oath, or make a promise. Suddenly, your choices matter more. Responsibility is gravity in human form. As children, we live lightly. Our decisions carry limited consequence. But as we grow, so does our mass, our influence, our reach, our capacity to shape outcomes. In today's America, where communication is instantaneous and influence can expand overnight, the gravitational pull of individual actions has never been stronger. A single statement can move markets. A single decision can alter communities. A single act of courage can inspire a generation. We cannot escape gravity. The only question is whether we will carry it with wisdom. IV. Escaping gravity, or learning to use it. Extended introduction. Humanity has always dreamed of flight. From the myths of Icarus to the Wright brothers, we have longed to rise above the earth, to escape the pull that binds us. In 1969, that dream reached a historic milestone when rockets launched from Mock Kennedy Space Center carried astronauts beyond Earth's atmosphere. For the first time, humanity walked on the moon. It felt like victory over gravity. But even there, gravity remained. Lighter, yes, but present. You cannot live without gravity. You can only experience it differently. In life, we often wish to escape responsibility, pressure, expectation. But these are not burdens alone. They are anchors. Without gravity, there is no stability. Without responsibility, there is no direction. The key is not to escape gravity, but to harness it. V. The gravity of character. Extended introduction. Think of someone you deeply respect. Not someone famous, not someone powerful in title, but someone whose presence commands trust. When they speak, you listen. When they decide, you feel steady. When they stand firm, others find courage. That is character. Character accumulates mass over time. It is built quietly, in moments when no one is watching. In decisions where integrity costs something. America does not merely need louder voices, it needs deeper ones. In an era of rapid opinion and instant reaction, character is the slow accumulation of weight that steadies communities. We must ask ourselves, are we becoming heavier in wisdom or lighter in conviction? VI love, the strongest force. Extended introduction. Physicists search for a unified theory, a single equation to explain every force in nature. But in human life, we already know the strongest force. Love. Love pulls people together across difference. It bridges political divides. It heals wounds that seem impossible to close. In times of tragedy, whether in small towns or great cities like New York City, we see gravity at work in its purest form. Strangers become helpers. Neighbors become family. Love carries enormous mass. It bends despair toward hope. It holds society together when everything else feels like it is drifting apart. The SEPID, the danger of weightlessness. Extended introduction. There is a quiet danger in modern life. Weightlessness. We live in a culture that prizes speed, novelty, and convenience. Commitments are easily broken. Attention spans shrink. Truth feels negotiable. But imagine a world without gravity. Objects would drift aimlessly. Nothing would remain anchored. There would be no stability, only collision. A society without moral gravity faces the same fate. When nothing is sacred, nothing holds. Weightlessness may feel freeing at first, but it leads to chaos. We must choose to give weight to truth, to promises, to institutions that protect human dignity. Have 8. Becoming a center of gravity. Extended introduction. Every system has a center. In physics, it is the center of gravity, the point around which everything balances. In families, it might be a grandparent whose wisdom steadies generations. In communities, it might be a teacher who shapes futures quietly, year after year. The question is not whether you influence others. You do. The question is, what kind of gravitational center are you becoming? Are people steadied by your presence or unsettled? Leadership is not about dominance. It is about dependable weight. Each of us has the opportunity to become a stabilizing force in an unstable time. The American moment. Extended introduction. We stand in a moment of extraordinary possibility. Technological breakthroughs accelerate daily. Artificial intelligence reshapes industries. Economic innovation continues to redefine opportunity. With such power comes enormous gravity. Great nations bend history, sometimes toward justice, sometimes toward division. America's cultural, economic, and political mass influences lives across the globe. The responsibility is immense. The world does not only measure American strength by its military or economy, it measures its moral gravity. Will America bend toward unity, toward opportunity, toward dignity? That choice belongs not only to leaders, but to citizens. A final reflection. Extended introduction. Tonight, when you leave and step beneath the open sky, gravity will still be there. You will not see it. You will not hear it, but you will feel its quiet faithfulness. It will hold the oceans in place. It will guide the moon in its orbit. It will keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. Gravity does not demand applause. It simply does its work. May we live that way. Steady, faithful, grounded in principle, strong enough in character to bend our families, our communities, and our nation toward what is good. Because in the end, the force of gravity is not only what holds us down, it is what holds us together. And now, as we draw this long reflection to its close, I want to return to where we began. Gravity, not dramatic, not loud, not trending on social media, but constant. It does not argue. It does not campaign. It does not demand recognition. It simply holds. It holds the oceans in place. It holds the atmosphere close to the Earth. It holds the moon in orbit. It holds galaxies together across distances we cannot comprehend. And because it holds, life is possible. In a time when our public conversations feel fragmented, when our politics feel polarized, when our communities sometimes feel divided, perhaps what we need most is not more speed, but more weight. We need ideas that endure beyond headlines. We need leaders whose words carry responsibility. We need citizens whose character anchors rather than agitates. In cities like New York City, in towns across the Midwest, in neighborhoods from coast to coast, America's true strength has never come solely from its power. It has come from its gravity, the gravity of its founding ideals, the gravity of its sacrifices, the gravity of families who wake early, work honestly, and hope deeply, the gravity of those who serve quietly, faithfully, without applause. Every one of us possesses a certain mass. Your decisions carry weight. Your silence carries weight. Your courage carries weight. Your love carries weight. And whether you realize it or not, you are bending something. You are bending your family's future. You are bending your workplace culture. You are bending the tone of your community. You are bending, in some small but real way, the arc of this nation. The question that remains is simple. Will we become heavier in wisdom, heavier in compassion, heavier in integrity? Or will we allow ourselves to become light, blown about by outrage, fear, and impulse? Gravity does not disappear when ignored. It remains, and so does moral gravity. May we choose to be people of substance in an age of speed. May we choose to be steady in an age of turbulence. May we choose to be anchors when others are drifting. Because in the end, the force of gravity is not merely what keeps our feet on the ground. It is what keeps our civilization from flying apart. It is what binds generation to generation. It is what turns power into responsibility. It is what transforms influence into service. And if we learn to live with that kind of weight, if we learn to carry it with humility and courage, then the future will not be something we fear. It will be something we shape together. Thank you.